Hello YouTube and welcome back to Old Flads. This is part 2. It wasn't originally going to be part 2, but it is now part 2 of my triple threat high scoring special that I've just recently done. Basically, what I wanted to try and explain to everyone is that my single player gaming, okay, has been, as you saw yesterday, is coming on, but it's based around the fact that I play a lot of co-op. I really love the co-op in Orcs Must Die 2. And my partner, who I play with most of the time, is Kuranes. You see jumping about up there. And we have been playing probably for a couple of weeks, no, just over a week, as a duo, and it's really working well. But what it does, what playing in the co-op modes does, is it allows you to work out in slightly more comfort the best ways of going about things. Now, Kuranes is a really good player, and after I hit that 1 million score, I sort of said, right, let's go and try and do a really big score. We'd already done a 1 million co-op round, which put us 9th in the rankings, which was pretty good. And we've gone up today, went to work, came back from work, and then saw that we'd been knocked out of the top 10. Now, as I didn't manage to get that 1 million on tape, it was something that I wanted to do anyway, is get a 1 million round co-op, and also try and get back up place in the top 10. So what we did, we had a bit of a chat about how we were going to go about it, and as you can see from the kill box, it's pretty much the same kill box from my single player. We do have an additional advantage though, because you can take 12 items, traps, trinkets, weapons, etc. into a co-op mode. It means there is room for a couple of extra things. Now obviously there's a primary weapon that Kuranes is going to be taking with him, which is a stone staff. We're both massive fans of the stone staff. It's such an excellent weapon. But we've also managed to take in the Jar of Ghosts, the Death Tome thing. Basically this is a very handy tool, especially in co-op, because we've got our main setup, we've got sufficient placement that we can have our entire kill box there, but if things do get a little rough, that Jar of Ghosts really gives you some breathing room. If they hit you once, they become scared anyway, and then they'll back off, whoever or whatever hit you. But if you put out the sort of ghostly figure, it acts as a barrier, and as soon as the enemy hits that, they'll turn around and try and run away from it. Now if you set up in this sort of position where we are here, which is a really nice position, it's dragging them slightly across the kill box, it's utilising all the traps, and if you find that they get through to a certain point and you put up this ghost totem thing, basically you can keep most of the mobs inside your kill box. Now this is good for two reasons. One, it gives you a chance obviously to stop them from getting your guardians and getting out, and secondly it gives you a second bite of the cherry on the combos, which is very important for the high scoring rounds. So one thing I did find was a bit of a problem, and that was actually spending the money. We were creating so many points and so much sort of combo coin hits that I was struggling to spend money because of the items that I had in my inventory at the time. My items sort of set out, by and large, obviously the barricade set out the edge of the kill box. The tar sits at the front just to slow them down sufficiently. Then we have the web spinners, which does exactly the same thing, but you don't want web spinners all the way down, because the idea of this kill box that we were trying to do is that at any one point there was always contact with at least 3 or 4 of our main traps. So as you can see here, you've got tar, web spinners, zappers up top, the grinders, and the scorchers, which makes your opportunity for the big combos very high. It does sort of limit you to the fact that if they don't come out of the tile quick enough and the effect wears off, you won't get that as part of your combo, and that's probably where we lack a little bit. You've got to try and make a decision on whether you want to slow them up sufficiently to come all the way back into your kill box, or whether you want to try and take them early and utilize the fact that you can kill them and then just build up Scorchers behind to pick up kills. So it might be worth trying the third row of tar with the Scorchers down the side still, so you'll still be getting that Scorcher combo. You just won't be getting as huge amount of hit damage as you would be if they're getting taken from two sides by the Scorchers, the Grinders, the Zapper, the Haymaker, and and the Web Spin. It's quite a lethal combo. That's without us spamming at them as well. Basically, this works. So it might be something to look for. I think we'll probably give that a go, because if we can draw them further back into the kill box, it means that we might be able to pick up bigger combos further into the kill box as well. Because you'll find that as you come, the further towards your Guardians you get, the less the combos tend to be, and that's obviously because you've lost your tar. By the time this Ogre, for example, he's got a 9 on him there, but if he'd come a couple of steps forward, he'd have actually been away from the tar combo, and as a result you run a risk of not getting your 10, or if you get a 10 you possibly missed your 11. See, for example, there that was a 5 combo on an Ogre. That's not the best idea for when you want the really big scores. So now we're moving into the final wave. The Guardians we've looked after really well. We brought them in fairly early, but now is our strongest point again. We were trying to get the Guardians in earlier so that we could get the Guardian limit earlier, but like I say in my single player video, you do run a bit of a risk of them getting killed by the Cyclops mages, which it's not ideal, especially when you're trying to get as many hits on each mob as possible. So this final wave is fairly relaxed, to be honest. What we found with the co-op is that once you get into this sort of area with your kill box, you can relax a lot more. It's not like in single player where you've got to be constantly firing around after those healer shaman. In co-op, if anything, you want them to come further in as well, because then you're going to pick up those 7 and 8 kill combos that you can get from those healers. They actually take a surprising amount of damage, because they're healing themselves. If you get enough damage on them, they won't heal fast enough. That means that they'll actually take an equivalent damage of, well, if you get it right, they'll take an equivalent damage of, say, an Ogre, for example. And we may have even got a 10 combo on one of those earlier as well. So I mean, timed right, it is worth just having the healers come into the kill box and just relying on everything hitting them at one go and just causing massive devastation, which obviously gives you a huge combo and gives you a huge kill streak at the same time. So it's win 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 win. Now this is the last section of this wave, and at this point we sort of knew, well, I knew that we'd gone in for a good round. This is, like I said, this was the 4th time that we'd actually gone over 1,000,000 points. So you get a pretty good feeling for whether or not you're going to do it. And we knew that it had been, although not the best round, we knew it had been a good round. And it's a pretty good feeling, especially when it takes a couple of times to get back into your spot that you was on the leaderboard, which I know shouldn't matter, but now that I've got involved in the high scores, it suddenly becomes a pretty important issue to me. And hopefully you guys have managed to learn something from it as well, I hope. Anyway, so I just want to say a massive thank you for watching, and a massive thank you for Kuranes for all the good work that you've done during our co-op games. I've thoroughly enjoyed them, and I'm looking forward to the next ones as well. Thanks very much for watching, cheers and goodbye.